Hello and welcome to Simplifying AI in Government. I'm your host, Ayman Aitani. I'm joined today by my colleague, Jad. Our colleague, MG, is with family today. So we're going to explore AI use cases in government and their impact. Let us get started with the topics for today. What do we have, Jad?
Jam Ayman, how are you? So first we have Zoom's AI companion that received the FedRAMP OK for government use in the US. And the next topic is the Nevada government. They're using an AI solution to determine if people should get their unemployment benefits. So let's start with the Zoom's topic. So Zoom's AI companion is now FedRAMP authorized for government use in the US. Now, I'm sure a lot of people are asking about where's the data, where's their cloud. The FedRAMP is ensuring that this cloud service meets all the high standards for government use. Their cloud services are secure, and there's nothing to worry about. So I think this shows the innovation or the public-private partnership that the government and the FedRAMP is trying to facilitate between private companies and the government. And it shows Zoom's commitment for serving government clients, how they're aiming to enhance productivity, collaboration. And they said that they want to continue expanding and securing more and more their solutions. So last week we discussed about how ChatGPT, Copilot, they're all applying to get FedRAMP authorized for their new products, new models, and the old ones. And Ayman, I know for a fact that you are using Zoom's AI companion. So what do you think about it, and how do you think governments can use it other than translating meetings, automating some workflows, and so on?
Zoom AI's companion is an AI tool that is in the background of any call, audio, or video, and it analyzes what's happening and sends you by email a summary. I've been trying it in English and Arabic and mixed languages of English and Arabic, and it's been quite effective. Now, for the government in the US to use Zoom AI's companion, that means they've done a lot of work with Zoom, FedRAMP, and other government entities and federal entities in order to secure the data, meaning that the routing of the audio calls, of the video calls, where do they go, where do the video and audio streams go, where does the AI process that information, that text and summary, what email does it use to send out. So all of those details have been figured out, and there's enough of effort done for Zoom AI companion to be federal government approved in the US. Having an AI companion on video and audio calls, providing summaries, is very effective, and it has been helping me in many meetings. Even I was in a meeting earlier today, and I wished that when I left that I already had some form of an AI companion there in order to have a summary for the meeting itself. And that's already there, that's available for government entities and for businesses. So Zoom's AI's companion with working with the federal government in the US to have an AI tool that can sit along government calls, audio, video, can transcribe, can send summaries, is one significant step for day-to-day use in AI. It's one significant step in usage of AI for government on a day-to-day basis.
Ayman, we know that this product is already available for businesses, and now they mentioned it's available not just for the local and state government entities, but also for the federal government. So it's pretty clear that they think that the data is very secure behind the Zoom AI companion. Do you think high government officials will start using it? That's one. Two, how can they use it, or if they will use it for in-person meetings like parliamentary sessions? Because other governments, they worked a lot to develop their own AI models to transcribe and create summaries behind in-person meetings.
Now, senior government officials, when they're using conferencing tools, all they care about is that the information is not widely available or and that the information is stored on servers within the country and there's limited access. So how the AI companion works, what does it do, and so on, it's not much of interest to senior government officials as long as it complies with the data governance, data privacy, data security guidelines in place. But it is very helpful for the aides, the people who are helping these senior government official on summarizing meetings, working on next steps, having proof of work being done before. So having an AI companion on calls is definitely helpful for the people who are supporting the senior government leaders.
So if I understood clearly, some people will lose their jobs because of this FedRAMP authorization.
I don't think so. I don't think so, Rajad. Some of them might, but already their job has been gradually being lost in a sense. Where in some government entities, there's a requirement for having somebody to sit and write notes, like a stenographer, note taker, or whatever it is. And if that's the sole job that they do, with time, this is easily replaceable in a sense, where you're recording the meeting, whether it's a physical meeting or an online meeting, you're recording it. You're asking an AI tool to transcribe and summarize the text and send it over. So that will be the jobs that might be affected on this. Some people who are also involved in admin work, a lot of admin day-to-day work on this, they'll be affected. But I don't see them losing their job as much as this is something that's off their plate and they can do other things. Because I don't know how many people are only dedicated to note-taking and summarizing. They usually have other tasks with their job as well.
Yeah, I'm also sure they won't fully trust the AI. They will need like a human touch over it to double check all the information and so on. So moving.
One of the
Yes,
use cases we saw together was one of the countries in Europe where they're required by law to show to have public transcripts of what is happening in the when government in the parliament and when other government entities meet. They're required by law to share notes externally on what's being done and the transcription as part of their transparency. That has been problematic for everybody because you need dedicated people to take the notes. You need the dedicated people to review the summaries, and then you need dedicated people to publish and make sure it's up to date. And then and also always they've been always behind. So it takes usually 2, 3, 4, 5 days until this is done. And every day there are meetings, so there's always in arrears. They're always late on this. So that government entity in Europe, what it did was it used AI to record all of the proceedings. It trained the AI on almost 200 key people in government, presidents, ministers, and people in positions on their voices, so that the AI can recognize who's saying what, and then the AI created summaries. Then humans came in and they checked on the final write-up, and they clarified it, cleaned it, double-checked a few things, and then they were made public. So that particular use case makes it much easier for the case for transparency and documenting what's happening. AI is a very simple and effective use case for this.
Ayman, my last question to you regarding this topic is, now Zoom is focusing on the US government. Do you think this is just a start for them to start applying to get authorized and being used in other governments? For example, I'm sure Zoom's cloud services or such is in the US. That's why it got approved. So how do they get to the point where they're also approved to be used in the UAE, for example, or Middle East or any other country?
It's tougher. So Zoom being compliant now with the US federal government for data privacy and data security is a big move for Zoom and gives a lot of permission for other government entities to use Zoom's AI tools and other AI tools moving forward as part of the day-to-day usage of government. Now, for Zoom to be able to apply the same process outside the US, it's a longer process. So let's take Europe, for example. So there are Europe as a union guidelines that they have to comply with, and then they have to comply on a country by country basis. So the French government's requirement for data privacy and security is different than that of Germany, for example. So they have a lot of overlaps and similarities, but they have specific key requirements per country. So very likely what Zoom would do as a technology company that is for profit, they would look at what are the big markets in the world. So the US is obviously the largest market. Then they would look at what's our second largest market, third largest market, and they would go after them one at a time.
All right, that's clear, Ayman. So For our next topic, it's Nevada's government. They're using AI to decide whether some people should get unemployment benefits. So the traditional way is someone unemployed, they apply, they go, they have the form, they ask them for some papers, for some evidence, and the people there, the employees, get time to review it, study if this person really deserves to receive some unemployment benefits. Now, Nevada's government, they already implemented this AI system to determine the eligibility for unemployment benefits for some people. So how does it work? This solution is powered by Google's models, and it cost them around $1 million to develop it specifically for the Nevada government. And they mentioned that to give the sense of security and some kind of comfort for people and citizens that a human will always monitor all the decisions of AI to prevent errors or oversights, ensuring that all final rulings or decisions are reviewed by a human. So, how does it work? This AI transcripts all hearings, it examines the evidence received during the application, and it generates recommendations. It doesn't give a final decision, it only generates recommendations. So, there is some concerns because from the citizens, they're worried that this might have some bias in its recommendations. It won't feel with the human or really understand the purpose behind applying for unemployment benefits. So, Ayman, this is, I think, close to what we previously discussed, how LA implemented its own AI solution to determine if or to solve the housing issue in LA. Here, they're using this AI solution to solve the unemployment benefits, reduce time spent reviewing applications, faster processes, and so on. What do you think about this, Ayman?
One of the common use cases of AI in government is automating repeated data entry and data review related tasks. So, any government entity that deals externally with citizens or with businesses, it is common for those businesses and citizens to have requests or inquiries that they would fill on certain forms. So, they would fill a form with information, attachments, and so on. So, there is a volume of that coming in every day. And then there is a team that filters through that data. There's usually a first level team that filters through that data to discard cases that don't apply at all to what they're applying to. And then you have a second level a team that goes in detail into these applications, and they study them to see if there's merit, and they apply to get that grant, that tax break, or whatever it is that they're applying for. And then they move on to communicating with that entity for either asking for more information or for saying, your grant is approved and these are your next steps. Because this is repeated and the criteria is clear on what needs to be done on this, so the way they would look at it is the application comes in, the AI tool would then make sure that all of the information is submitted, that this is the correct information. So you applied certain IDs, certain documents, or whatever. These are information that are there. It can quickly discard the applications that don't apply to the that don't apply to what they're applying for. And then from that, they can say, okay, these are likely yes, likely no, and likely maybe. So the AI tool can categorize them, and then humans can come in. So some government entities are saying we will not look at the no's, we will only look at the yeses and the maybes. Other government entities are choosing to look to say the yeses are good to go. We will only look at the maybes and the no's. So it depends on what the government entity wants to do. They can decide on how to discard or not the information that are there.
Ayman, it's clear that this is a very good use case for the government. It will help them automate some workflows, some tasks, and such. But do you think the concerns of the citizens is in place now? They're very concerned because this decision affects people's whole livelihood. So they're concerned that the AI system might unintentionally favor or disadvantage, or it doesn't understand the real life situation. Do you think their concern is in place?
For people who are concerned that when they apply to a government service that the AI tool might make a mistake in their application, it's a valid concern, but also another valid concern is the human behind this also is can make mistakes as well on on reviewing the application and on understanding what you're trying to do and so on. So that mistake can be done there by machine or by the human. Now, for the safer, more responsible implementations of AI, it involves the AI tool coming up with recommendations, and you have a human layer that is able to vet the application. So that can be done via sampling. So it depends on the volume of the applications. They would sample certain applications to see the level of accuracy of the AI tool and then tweak it accordingly. There are other cases where only critical cases are reviewed by humans or so on. So there are different ways in order to reduce the error margin that AI tools can make. But the AI tools are improving, they're getting better. And you can be very clear about what you want that tool to do or not to do. So if the intent is good in terms of I really want to serve my citizens and residents, I really want to help them with what they're doing, there will be ways that the government entity will find in order to optimize the selection, the filtering, and doing that. If the intent is just I want to slap in an AI and say I have AI in my government entity now, and I tick a box and I leave, then yes, that government entity is prone to having multiple issues with misunderstandings that will affect citizens and residents.
Ayman, my last question, it's a bit unrelated to this topic, but it's about something you mentioned. So, as government entities, when choosing an AI use case or an AI tool to use, should they look at if it's helped the citizens more or if it's helping the government entity more? So what's more important for them?
The government entities are trying to do the best interest for the people, to citizens and residents. So that's the overarching theme. That's the premise and the assumption there. Now, in that case, if that's a true intent and that's really what they're trying to do, then they will find ways to make it better for people. They could have digital tools that use this. So forget AI. It could be websites, mobile apps, actions that the user can take, payments that they can do digitally without physically going to see people, and so on. It could be another case where actually the digital tools are not helping. We should to make citizens and residents happier, we do physical centers where people can come in and they can complain or apply or do whatever. So assuming the intent is to better serve people, and people will complain, they will tell you what they will hate, and repeat it again and again. So so they will tell you what they want, and you'll filter. The government entity would filter through what is really a problem or what to fix and what not. So I remember one of the government entities I was going to fix something, and then I was calling, they weren't answering, and I looked at their Google Maps, and all of the comments were about nobody answers, parking issues, you require cash, you don't take cards, you request photocopy machines, but you don't have a photocopy, and just things like this that just me as a regular user going through comments publicly, I can figure out that okay, these are the top 5 most common complaints to fix. And so if that government entity really wanted to fix things, it can go through people's comments and what they're saying and what they want to do and what they want fixed, and they'll find ways to fix it, whether with digital, whether with AI, whether with humans. If the intent is there, they'll find a way to fix it.
All right, that's clear, Ayman. Thank you.
All right, that's it in terms of government use cases for AI. Thank you for joining us. We're doing this live every week, every Thursday at 5 p.m. UAE time on X, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Thank you for joining.